This video is I cannot. Drink water. It's so cold. Cold. Oh my gosh, it's so hot. I don't know what I think about cold. My water is cold. The weather is hot. Um, you want to get into fantasy, but you are overwhelmed by the amount of pages and characters that a lot of these books have. You're not alone. I'm going to suggest to you five, six books that are easy to follow and they are perfect for a newbie into fantasy. And I decided to do one of the most funny, a little bit overwhelmed type of books. It's romantasy, the romance and fantasy all together. They are easy to understand. They have a little bit of every single thing, and most importantly, they are enjoyable. The first one, it's Perrin and the End of Days. This series, it has three books. A 17 years old girl, she rescued her sister and end up involved with a fallen angel, right? When it comes to pace, it's not a too fast or too slow type of book. I'm not gonna say one of the first, but it's there in the type of books that I read when I started reading this type of genre. Um, the world building, it's moderate but new, like falling angel type of, you know, fantasy. This story, this tale, it's not new. It's like the vampire trope. It's nothing new, but the author could bring that all and make it kind of new. It was enjoyable and the plots were interesting. So the plots were engaging. It's easy to guess, but it has a a smell of new, in a sense, if you can kind of understand it. When it comes to writing, it's easy to grasp. If you don't have to be like, I don't know, a C1 level speaker, English speaker. If you understand the language, you can understand the story. The author doesn't use hard words, so it's that type of book. The second one is The Folk of the Air. It has three books as well. So we have a 7 years old girl. Oh my gosh, she's taken into a new world where she does not belong, but she has to fight to get her place in a sense. And again, these books are all romance, so it has romance involved. It's kind of enemies to lover. It's my first enemies to lover, I think. No, it's not my first. I'll tell you what my first enemies to lover was later. So when it comes to the pace, it's fast, but not that fast, and it doesn't have too much fillers, so it makes it good and interesting. Each book, it doesn't waste a lot of time to tell you what's gonna happen in a sense, and the plot, it's good because I try to guess. I do that a lot when I read, and I couldn't guess this one that fast, so it was good. When it comes to the world building, it reminds me of teenagehood. I think that's the age target, the main age target when they're selling this book, when the author made this book. That world that she built, it's easy to visualize. It's not that hard. When it comes to the plot, it's funny and cute. It's the only word that I can think about when I think about the whole plot of this. This I was about to say the movie of this book. When it comes to the writing style, it's really easy to follow. Again, I think it's because it doesn't have a lot of fillers. It doesn't have a lot of, and the vocabulary is not that complex. Of course, if you don't speak the language, you won't understand. But You may not understand, but you may have problems with certain things. But it's not that hard. I read books that are more complex that, you read and then you forget to understand because it's not that easy. So the third book is Kingdom of the Wicked. I think I don't think you can see it. You can a little bit in here. It's one of my first physical books, and I like to read it. It made me fall in love with reading like a real physical book. We have two sisters. This book is about witches. Um, it involves revenge using dark magic and dark wicked princes like princess from hell. When it comes to the pace, the first book is a little bit faster. It's really good. It makes you want to read more. The second book is a little bit slower, but like it gets slow at some points. But the plot of the second book made the book interesting, so I didn't lose interest when I was reading it, and then jump into the third book. That was the last one. I don't know if I said it. It has three books as well. When it comes to the world building, it's simple and it's straightforward in a sense, even with the fillers. When I say fillers, I don't know. I say it because I watch anime and those have fillers. It's like characters, fillers chapters. It's those chapters are like doesn't add anything to the plot. You adding it or taking it out, it won't change a thing when it comes to the movie. You not knowing anything that happened in that chapter, it won't made it uninteresting. It's like you reading a romance book and someone like, oh, today my dinner was like, I don't know, fried eggs. And just like knowing this and not knowing this wouldn't change anything in the plot. It doesn't add anything. When it comes to the plot, it's amazing and you won't see it coming. I thought it would be something kind of Lucifer type. I don't like to compare those type of things, but you would think about plots like that, but what happened in the end of the second book and the third book, especially the second book, it wasn't something that I was waiting for. The first book, yes, not too much, but yes. The second and the third, no. So it was good. The writing style, it's moderate and it's easy. I'd say moderate in terms of it's a little bit harder than, let's say, the Folk of the Year book, but it's still easy when it comes to other books that I read, like Throne of Glass, or one that's really hard for some people. That would be literally hard for some people. The Mistborn saga, like that's difficult for other people. So it's way easier than that. The fourth book is Shatter Me. It has, I'm saying books, but it's series, I'm sorry. It has 6 books and it has some novella in between. So we have a 17-year-old girl. She's been locked for almost a year, and now she's hearing like whispers of war and whatever, and she finds herself in a position where she has to choose between becoming a warrior or becoming a weapon. It involves magic. A lot of it, I think, is the one that involves, yes, is the one that involve more magic in a sense of people having magics. It has some characters, but it doesn't have that much. It's easy to remember and know which one we're talking about. When it comes to the pace, it's kind of slow because it has 6 books. But the good part is that the books that are short, you can read it fast. Even if you work, you have to do other things. I think, of course, it depends on the amount of time that you have. But if you read at least, I don't know, 30 minutes per day, you would finish it in less than a week. I would say, let's say a week. But it's really like fast to read because it's simple. The world building, I think, is one of the more complex when it comes to the others, especially because of the magic that it involves. But it's not hard to understand how the magic comes and who have what magic. So in that sense, it's not hard. When it comes to the plot, I think you can see the main plot I can say right now, the girl, she's gonna find herself in a position where like I'm gonna try to save the world in a sense because it involves words and whatever and magic, revolution. You can see part of the plot coming, but not too much. And part of it involves enemies to lover, and I love it. One of my favorite characters. This is one of my favorite books because it's the book that made me, fall in love with fantasy and especially romantasy. Um, so it's engaging. So even though it has 6 books, it's kind of slow sometimes. It's engaging. It's funny. It reminds me a little bit of teenagerhood in a sense. Uh, you know, that whole energy that you feel. Um, when it comes to writing style, it's easy. I think when I think about all the other books, I would say it's really easy because it's one of the books that I started reading when I started learning English. Um, so I didn't finish. I finished the whole series when I was like really good at English. But I think I would say even if you have like a B2 plus level or a little bit less, you can read that book. I would recommend it to people that want to learn the language because it doesn't use too complex words. Of course, if you don't speak the language fluently, you would have like 1 or 2 words that you don't understand. But in terms of the whole book, you can get it. So this is just to give you a sense that the book it's easy in terms of comprehension. The last book, um, it has 6 books. It's the Plated Prisoner, last series. I'm still saying books. So this one will have Faye. We have a woman that was rescued from the slums, and she's placed, let's say, in a pedestal. And as the war and a lot of things happen, um, she can see her gilded world melting down. Oh, that's good. um, it involves Faye. So it reminded me like, I would say today when I was reading the script, because when I was preparing it, I wasn't thinking about this, but it reminded me a little bit of the Throne of Glass series. Um, in a sense, not don't compare it to be like it's the same type of story. It's just that Fae world, how it involves with humans and all those plots. When it comes to the pace, it's slow. That 6 books, I did a review about this, and I will tell you, this whole 6 book could be made maximum 3. I would be like a 2, but let's go with a 3 just to have to put some other stories into it. But and it got to a point that it has multiple POVs, so if you like that, you would like it. When it comes to the world building, it could be more complex. The author had like a lot of materials in her hand. I don't know. I don't want to say she wasted it, but she did. So I'm so sorry. She wasted it. She jumped too fast in certain things and showed moments and POVs that it was unneeded and unrequired, at least for me. So I think it was kind of a waste. It had a lot of more potential. But when it comes to getting into fantasy and romance, it's a perfect book for that. When it comes to the plot, it's mixed. But it's kind of too hard to see, but not that hard. I think it became hard because of the wasted energy that the author made on adding things that was unneeded. Because it has too many fillers. It's just no. When it comes to writing style, I would say 100% it's a beginner friendly. It has fillers, but it's not hard to understand. It's not hard to grasp what is happening. So you should give it a try. If you want magic, there's all like at least one of these books. I'll say all of them have in a sense, but some have like the falling angel. It has magic, but it's a magic world. No, but the Plated Prisoner is a magic world. Of course, it have like angels. No, so it depends on what you want. You can get it, right? You want romance? Check. They all have romance. They all romantasy. They all have like a little bit of this. Some have spice scenes that I don't know if people like if they can read it. This is not for kids to read, but anyways. So you have manageable plots. You don't have to think too fast. You don't have to turn your brain into a pretzel, like twist your brain until you get what's happening. It's not that hard. So you should do a double check on this book, at least one of them, to just see and see if you can, if you're gonna like it. Even if you're read in the genre, if you're read book, I read, yeah. If you're read read books that part of this genre, or a little bit part of it partially, if even if you read just romance, you can give it a try. It's kind of interesting. So if you're still nervous about fantasy, choose one of them. Any of them. Of course, I didn't explain too much, but you can search more about it to understand better. But you should give it a try, and see if you're gonna like it or not. Um, if you want to leave a suggestion about a book that you think similar in terms of complexity, just the pace, the world, the plots, the writing style, please leave it in the comment. I would appreciate it, because I might not even know about this book and I might try to read it because I like to read this type of books. So yeah, that's it for today.